All right, now it's time to identify and plan the desired design for your website. There are two parts to this. The first is I want to share with you the thought process of thinking or breaking down every website to the same basic elements. You will see that no matter what website that is out there or a website that you like, it can usually be broken down to the same core elements. That's the first thing. I want you to have an understanding, a conceptual thought process of thinking and identifying what a website consists of. That is the first part, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. The second part is I want you to, after watching this part about breaking down each element or each feature of the website, to also, at the back of your mind, start thinking and identifying which website in the industry that you are in that you like and identifying what is that website and writing it down, because we just want to use that as an example, something which you can observe and try to recreate, not copy, but try to recreate and make it better on GroovePages, and to make your own website based on some of the features that you see existing in another person's website or in another business website, which you think that you could adopt and make it better. So this is a practical exercise in the sense that as I show you how to look at the elements on GroovePages, I would recommend that now you also open up your GroovePages and try to, at the same time, maybe you could minimize the window on the side, or just try immediately after I show this part to you. And another practical part is also to start writing down any websites that you know in your industry that you like, and just write it down and just note it down, the websites that you think is nice and you try to, or you would like to get some inspiration from and try to also create on the GroovePages. All right, so let's begin by looking at the canvas on GroovePages. Now, the first thing that is very important when you are working on GroovePages is to understand breadcrumbs. So breadcrumbs are these things down here at the bottom left, because you see that there is a red box whenever you click on something on GroovePages. So when you click on something, for example, it says container. So the breadcrumbs at the bottom tells you what is it that you are selecting on the canvas. So if you click on this one, you choose the container, and if you click on block, the red box will go on the block. And if you click on body, it's just the body. So again, container, you will see that if you click layout, it will move to the layout. If you click on container, it will go to container. If you click on block, you choose the block. So if you have your GroovePages on right now, and I suggest that you try doing this as well at the same time or shortly after watching this video, just have a feel and be familiar with the breadcrumbs, because breadcrumbs tells you exactly what you are choosing and selecting when you are working on GroovePages. So for example, if I wanted to change the text here, I wanted to put number 4, I would have to, let's just say I went like this. I'm choosing the block, but I wanted the text. Then by just clicking, I would be selecting the text. But if let's say I wanted to go back to the block, I wanted to choose the block, which is the bigger part of this area, then I just need to click on block at the breadcrumbs, and the box, the selector, the red selector box will go back to the block. So that's breadcrumbs. This is one of the most important things you have to remember and learn to use in GroovePages. And now that we are talking about blocks, there's breadcrumbs, and then I should probably add blocks. Blocks is one of the most important things, or it makes building on GroovePages so much easier by thinking about every part of a page as consisting of blocks. In fact, that is one of the main themes of the challenge, which is to teach you how to build websites as easily as stacking blocks together. So when I talk about blocks, I'm actually talking about this block right here. If you look closely, and I'll show you in a moment, every website is usually broken down, or can be broken down or thought of as consisting of blocks, which is parts of the page, part by part by part. You can actually start building your pages by putting blocks together. Maybe you have got your navigation bar followed by your content and so on. So I'll show this to you in a minute. The second thing now is to think about layout and pattern, because if you click on block on GroovePages, you can see that there are these plus buttons where you can add a block above this block here, or you can add, if you click on it, you can add a block beneath. Now, the second thing I want to show you is to think about contents on the page as consisting of layouts. Here, it is to add a block, and you can click under empty blocks. In another category of empty blocks, you see that these are all pre-configured layouts for each block. So I would highly recommend that you use these pre-configured empty blocks to add content or to build the content on your website, because all these blocks have already been pre-configured. So I'll show you an example. So this block here is a single layout block, and this is a double layout, a layout of 2 by 2, and this is 3 by 1. So there's 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, and 1 row. And for example, this one will be 2 by 2, 2 columns and 2 rows. Let me just show this to you. So if I just added the block consisting of a single layout, then we have got this. This is a block with a single layout. The reason why it's important to use these pre-configured blocks is because the coding has already been configured. And here are all the other blocks that you could add, which I've added in order to save time. If I wanted to make content on my page consisting of 3 boxes, I don't need to start changing the sizes of the container here and there, because this block already consists of 3 containers. You can see at the breadcrumbs a layer of 3 by 3. There's 1, 2, 3. So I could add words and images into this container. So that's how you should always approach or think about content on your page. So again, recap, think of adding content based on blocks. So for example, if I wanted to have a blog style or like an article style, then I might want to use this block here, because you see that this column, this container here is a little bit smaller than this container over here. So you can imagine that I might want to write an article with more words on the left side, and on the right side, I might put a photo for an ad or some small information here. But with this part here being bigger, this makes it very easy for me to add content, right? So this is the 2 containers under a 2 by 2. If I click on this, it's a 2 by 2 block. And this is a 2 layout, is a 2 by 2 layout. So this is also a 2 by 2 layout, except this container is a bit smaller than this container here. All of this you can find under empty blocks. You can look at the shape of what kind of block you want. So if let's say you wanted to put a lot of photos side by side, and you've got this 3 by 3, then you just click on this and you will have this block pre-configured for you to add content in a 3 by 3 manner. And so if you want to add photos, you want to put a block, an area consisting of photos, 9 photos, then you might want to consider using this block. Okay, so that's the layout and the pattern. So in order to show you more clearly what I mean, I'd like to show you an example of a brand website. All right, so this is the brand website. As you can see here, if you look at it from a normal website, if you land on this website, it looks quite impressive, isn't it? It's got this header over here, and it's got a tagline and a small subheading, and it's got buttons, and it's got words. It's got this nice photo of this expert over here. It's got words here, and there's more photos and words and so on. But all of this, if you remember about layout, it can be thought of as consisting of a layout of 2 by 2. So here is 1 and 1. And here is another container and another container. And here you've got a 3 by 2 container over here, and you can add a button. And so the rest of the website, you can see, hopefully, that it is consisting of parts which are blocks stacked up together. So here you can see there's a change of color from white to a little bit gray. This is probably another block. But when you look at the website like this, you wouldn't really know that it's actually consisting of blocks. So I'd like to show you what it looks like when you are actually building it on GroovePages. So you can see here that this is the first block. So this is block number 1. So block number 1 is a navigation block. So it's container and navigation bar. So just think of that as block number 1. And then you have got block number 2. See, there's a block number 2, and it consists of a layout, a 2x2 layout. So there are 2 containers here, 1 and 2. So if you deleted this, if I deleted this, you would see that this image over here was actually dropped into an empty container. And to drop images, you just need to click on elements and look for the image element and just drop it there. And you have to change the element with the photo that you want, and it will start appearing here in this column, this right column in this 2x2 layout. So I'll just undo that. And so that's how you create this block over here with the wording and the image. With the words and all these elements, I'll show you how to put it in the later stages. But I just want to, at this stage, show you how to identify the design. Just the approach of thinking about what each page consists of. I'd like you to just have an idea of what each page consists of. It consists of blocks. So that's block number 1, block number 2, block number 3, by just looking at the breadcrumbs, and look at this one as block number 4. And whenever you select on something, you just have to also look at what is being selected, which is this red line over here. It shows you that it is the block which is selected. But if I clicked on the image, you can see that it is an image on top of a container, which is wider, and on top of a 2x2 layout, on top of another container and a layout, container, and block. So always think of the page as consisting of blocks. And when I said stacking blocks together, you can see that there are arrows here as well, which you can move. So if you can move this one up, you'll see that this whole block is moved up to 1 step higher. And this block is moved 1 step higher. I think it's a very simple way of thinking about a page. If your page is made of blocks which you can move up and down, it's really simple. It makes things simple to also think about design in a very easy way. Everything is just made out of blocks. Now, you can see here that this looks like a 3x3 layout. So if you click on it, then you can see that it's a 3x3 layout, which you can add. Without going too deep into the features, might as well tell you now that you could also add in elements on the page. So you could add in another 3x3 column if you wanted to put more content on this part. There is this elements tab here, and you can add in 3 columns. But we'll go deeper into elements later on. But just wanted to show you that your website can be easily thought of in terms of its layout. So 3x3 or a 2x2, and this is a one single layout. So there's just this one container here. And so here is the actual site without all the red boxes, without the canvas. But you can see that behind all of this, it is just consisting of blocks. Consisting of blocks and consisting of layout, be it a single layout or be it a 2x2 layout. And here is probably a 2x2 as well with the equal sizing. And here you can see that it's probably a 2x2 as well. There's 2 parts to it. So if you deleted the content, which you can add, you will see that it is a 2x2. So I deleted the container. If I deleted the content, it should show the pixelated empty container. And there you go. So at the bare minimum, this container is an empty container. Okay, and it's a container under a 2x2 layout. So that's it for the layout. I just want you to conceptually think about the page, a website consisting of layout and blocks. And so now I would like you to identify the website that you like in your industry. So now it's time to have a practical exercise, which is to write down. Don't spend too long on this. Go ahead and write down at least one. If you can have three, that would be great, but at least one website that you know that you like in your industry, and have a look at it, a quick look at it, and try to identify that in fact the website can be broken down into parts, into blocks, and also what is the layout. It's probably a one single layout, or it could be a 1x2 layout. That means one row and two columns, or it could even be a 3x3 layout. So one row and three columns, and so on. Don't take too long. And after you have done that, we'll now proceed to the next section, which is the skillfully using templates and shared designs without losing originality.